Okay, hello guys. Welcome to another session with Blessed. As usual, we showcase some pretty nifty trick and about hacking and also trying to exploit vulnerabilities on systems to gain remote code execution. So today, this is the scenario we have before us. We had just been contacted by clients to run an advanced penetration testing on their server, one of their server, and the server is as usual hosted somewhere in the cloud, I think Amazon, and we've got VPN access to the server, so we're more or less emulating a black box, but we've got an IP address. It's a private IP, so we cannot use any public enumeration to grab details from the server. So we'll be relying on Nmap, we'll be relying on some brute forcing technique, then also relying on some misconfiguration exploits to gain remote code execution. And they've left some flags for us to catch. So let's hope we get in the box, grab the flag, and get things rolling. Pretty cool. So this is going to be a quick one. And also just to announce, we've got the YouTube thing running. So you can always get on YouTube and get those old videos which had been recorded, maybe watch them, then also help support the YouTube algorithm. Let's get the channel growing as fast as possible. Great. So right at the moment we have our VPN connected, and as you remember, we can quickly grab our IP address, and I'm just going to do that here again. Clear the screen, then I'll run that grab for my IP. So I've got my IP address in the VPN network. It's a /16 network, so we can say it's actually a class B private network. If you don't know what that is, basically we know the class A runs from the class B's A subnet, sorry, is 25500. So it's /8, it's the first octet. The class B is the first two octets network, so 8816. So 16 is for the network, then 16 will be for the host. So class A obviously will have more hosts than a class B. Class B is going to have more networks. So this is a class B network. Then we're going to verify the hosts which we're targeting today is online. We'll use a simple ping text. If ping is allowed, most times ping is disabled for critical web servers, or maybe there's a WAF or web application server somewhere blocking ping requests. So we're going to check ping. We'll try and ping that IP address. It's 10.10.249, I think, .224. I doubt if we can ping it. So you can see we can ping it. So we can ping request is disabled, but I'm very certain that IP is up, but we cannot ping it. So it's obvious the client had configured a WAF to block ping requests. So at this kind of a critical state, the first thing I want to do is go to my browser and try to see if I can browse that IP address. If there's anything, oh, then I'd use 19, so maybe that's why. Let me change that to 10. So we still can ping it. So I'll go to my browser and try to see if I can browse to this IP address. If there's a web server hosted on the IP, I should be able to reach the IP address on my browser. So dump this here and see if I can reach it. It's taking its time. As usual, I could go configure my host file to point directly to this, so there's no DNS thing going on in the background, but I don't think I'm going to do that now. Just wait, maybe I'm able to reach that IP address. Okay, I'm just verifying. Probably I've got the wrong IP address. I'm just going to verify that again. I think it's 244. I think it's 244. So let's go correct it in our browser, because I see it's 244. Okay, now we can reach it. We can see there's a Windows IS server, Internet Information Service running on the server. So which means it's a Windows server. Now there could be multiple web applications on this server. Our goal today is to enumerate further to find out if there are any web application being hosted on this server. Again, repeating this, the server could be a box, or could be a VM, or could be a container, or could be a Docker instance. and it's got an IP address. So on the server, the clients could install web applications, several of them. If it's a virtualized environment, they could rely on the strength of virtualization to host multiple servers on just this one IP. So the server, the network interface card on the server is where this IP had been assigned to. Now we're not sure how many servers or services are on that server. So, but a quick way to check that is to use the tool. You've seen me use GoBurster before, so I'm going to just rely on GoBurster again to do something. Directly with force, and I think I've got it in the background. We'll look for it, then I'll point it all the way down to that IP address. So it's 1010. I think it's 1010 is 249. Then it's 244. So let's watch GoBurster if it's going to find any directory. Then maybe we can start with it. But while it's running in the background, I'll quickly play around. Maybe check if there's a robot.txt. Usually for web servers, the robot.txt will list restricted directories, which means directories that you're not allowed to go to, or you require some form of authentication to be able to access. So we can see on this web server, there are no robot.txt directory configured, so which means nothing is there allowed. So we just have to wait for GoBurster to do its thing. But while that is running in the background, I would like to fall back on Nmap and maybe do some Nmap scripting scan. Let's see what Nmap is able to detect from the server. So I'm going to run sudo. In this case, I'll use Nmap. Then I'll run the service version as usual. I'll run the default scripts because I want to run all the default script, and if you can tell me exactly the services on the ports, I can now go specific to attack those ports. So I'm going to leave it to scan the first 1000 ports. I'm not going to specify that. I'll use the aggressive scan A. Let's see if we can grab some more information, and I'll point the IP address all the way right there. So it's 10.10.249.244. So let's Nmap do I need a sudo password. So I'm going to type that in and allow Nmap to do its thing. Now we've got GoBurster trying to find the directory. Nmap was pretty far. Oh, you see, now it's telling me that it seems like the host is down, but if the host is really up but blocking our ping, that's why I love Nmap. It's actually suggesting to me that probably there's a firewall which is blocking ping. Ping, usually we know it uses the ICMP request, ICMP echo, then wait for an ICMP response. So we had sent an echo request. The server is refusing to send a response. And if you look at the whole TCP connection thing, you'll understand that firewalls sometimes configured to disable ping request, ICMP request. So once it sees an ICMP request, it's going to disable it. Sometimes it might be graceful enough to send you maybe a response, but the firewall will be sending you the response, either telling you that it's administratively down, or it's disabled, or it's offline. From there, you can probably try to bypass firewall using some Nmap firewalking technique, but that's beyond the scope for today. So already GoBurster is showing us that there is a /retro directory. So we're going to go to that IP address again. We'll try to browse /retro. Let's see what we can find there. Is there anything there? I'll wait for it to try to load. Nmap again, we're going to try this, but this time around we'll add the /pn. So the pn flag allows Nmap to scan the host without pinging the host. So usually this is one quick way to bypass firewall restriction. So I'm going to run this, enter the sudo password, and wait for it. So let's go check. We're trying to browse the /retro. Let's see if we're able to find anything. If it loads, it didn't load. It's going back to the robots. So I'm going to try that one more time. Probably it's trying to go back to robots. Okay, now it's loaded. So what do we have? There is a web server here. We're going to play around this and see what we can find. Part of enumeration, you can see there is a user wait. So we'll take notes. There's a user wait. This seems like a gaming website. It's a gaming website. I can see Wade is one of the players in video game. So Wade is one of the player. Okay. What can we grab from here? Nmap is done. Let's go look at Nmap first. See what it tells us. So Nmap is telling us that port 80 is open, which is where the server is being hosted, which is a /retro. Then port 389, I believe you know is RDP. So RDP is open, and we can see that the target name is Retro Web, NetBIOS name is Retro Web, and NetBIOS computer name is Retro Web, the DNS as well. And beyond that, there's nothing else. So I might be tempted to want to run some RDP scripts, Nmap RDP scripts, to see what he can find, but I think it's going to basically give us the same results. Well, let's go play around that. So I'm in the scripting directory of Nmap. If I use the ls, then I pipe these to maybe grep for RDP only. Oh, I'm going to take that asterisk out of there. So you can see there are some scripts for RDP. I'm going to try to run all the RDP scripts and see if Nmap is going to do something about that. So I'll go back to my Nmap command. Then I'll remove that A, that C, that scripts. Then I'll point this to RDP. Then I'll put an asterisk there. I want to run all the RDP scripts. Let me see if this is going to run and fly. Great, seems like it's running. And thus far, GoBurster is not saying anything else, so we're going to cancel GoBurster. So we can obviously understand that it's just the /retro, which we've loaded up. Now let's wait for Nmap script to tell us specifically what we can do, or probably we could go to the website and try to play around, maybe check if we can view the page source. Maybe at the background we might see information that might be useful to us. We're going to analyze this. We see there's a lot happening there. Looking at the code, I'm just going to look around, see if there's any low-hanging fruits that will point to me maybe the architecture or the framework under which this web application is being built. Home block background, begin wrapper, retro. Well, great. So guys, look at this. I see there's an image source trying to load WP content. So this is WordPress. This is actually a WordPress website. So I can understand that the architecture is WordPress. Now I'm going to digress a bit to show you guys another tool which you can actually grab as an extension for Firefox or Chrome and use. It's called the Wapalizer. Wapalizer is there. Wapalizer can actually do a quick deep dive. If you look at Wapalizer's results, it's telling me that the content management system CMS is WordPress 5.2.1. The blog also is hosted in WordPress 5.2.1. Then it's giving me idea about some Google Front API happening there. The web server is IIS version 10.0. The programming language is PHP. So pretty cool. We can see PHP 7.1. Now the other day we did some search exploits. I could use search exploits to go look for exploit for PHP. That was PHP what? PHP 7.1.29. PHP 7.1.29. Are there any exploits for that PHP version? Wait for such exploit to tell us some things. Probably we could grab an exploit and use that as a way to get remote code execution on the box. But it's taking a while. Oh, there are a bunch of them. There's a ton of them. So, which means the web application is using a vulnerable PHP script, which we could exploit. I'm sure if we peruse around, we might find some of them that would grant us remote code execution, which is our aim, don't forget. And we should also be looking out for the ones that will work on Windows, not on Linux. So I'll leave that to your imagination to play with. I'm going to just continue with what I have. Now I know that there's PHP. I know it's WordPress. I know, what else do I know? I know it's a Windows server. I'm going to go back to my Wapalizer thing and try to understand what is happening in the background there, because that is giving me quite a ton of information. I know it's WordPress with the blog and also the CMS. The database is MySQL. JavaScript libraries is using some jQuery. I could go check for those jQuery if they're vulnerable version variable to cross-site scripting, or maybe cross-site request forgery attack, then there's jQuery migrate as well in the background happening. Great. So I urge you to grab Workalizer tool, get on your browser, either Firefox or Chrome. It gives you this fresh bread of understanding when you load a page, because it's going to give you the architecture of the page. Just very easy without having to go through stress. So still on my enumeration, I see there's a user and there's a link on that user. So let me click on the link, see what it's going to take me to. While that is loading, Nmap is done. So let's go look at our results. We see for 3389, it's RDP element happening there. Cool stuff. Okay. And basically that's all we could grab. The credit SP also, there's nothing there anyway, it's cool. So, but we're already informed that this targets got some WordPress thing happening there. So remember, we've got the tool WP scan. We're going to try to use WP scan to do some further enumeration. So I'm going to run a bare metal scan, WP scan. I'll tap that URL. I'll point that to HTTP. It's 10.10.249.244, I believe. Then it's /retro. Let's run a WP scan and see what it can find. So while that is doing stuff, I'll go back to the browser and quickly look there. What can I see? I see that this Wade guy is actually the guy who put this up. He plays the game. So there are a lot of links. We could check them up. 30th anniversary, Pac-Man, Ready One Player. Maybe we'll go check this Ready One Player. Let's see if there's anything there. We see WP scan is already giving us some nifty cool stuff there in the background. Let's go analyze them quickly. We're trying to beat the YouTube pan thing. Okay, great. So we see there's a header, again, verifying Nmap's results, verifying the Workalizer's results, PHP 7.1.29. Great. So you see the other passive way for doing enumeration without having to use scripts or tools like this. So we can see some XML, RPC stuff happening there in the background, giving us some vulnerabilities that we could go try against that. But I don't think we're going to do any of this. Okay, WordPress theme is the 90s retro. The location of the theme is showing us that. Then what else is there? Enumerating plugins. So it's doing its thing. Did you find any plugin? That looks really messed up. I can barely read it. No config backup found. So maybe I need to point my API so it can do some detailed scan. So maybe I'll use a TAC API token. I have a API token for WP scan. I'll go look for it. I think I've got it in here. Where is it? WP scan cats. WP scan. So that's my API token. I'll grab it. You can get an API token by registering at the WP Scans websites. You grab an API token which can help you do some vulnerability analysis using WP Scan. So I'll paste that here so I can scan for vulnerability. So that's going to run again. Again, going back to the web page, what can we see? We see this is like this guy's blog. Let's read around, peruse around. WP Scan is already seeing a ton of vulnerabilities, guys. Look at that. It even gives us the link to the exploits. This is really cool. See, with the API token, I can do this much. It's a pretty cool tool. I would rather not rely on Nick though to do this. If I know the website architecture is WordPress, I'll use WP Scan because see, it's giving me some rich contents about vulnerabilities. I see there's CGI being, there's the MITRE CGI being vulnerability. We'll try that against the WordPress builds. A bunch of other vulnerabilities. It's a whole lot of them. So I just wanted to show you this. I'm not going to use any of those. I want to show you what you can do with the API token. If you've got the API token, it becomes easy to do detailed vulnerability analysis using WP Scan. So I'm going to clear the screen. I already found what I want, but I think I'm going to enumerate for user using WP Scan. I want to find users. So I've got my little cheat sheet here. So I'm going to cat WP scan usage. I think there's a command for enumerating users. Is it there? It's not there. Let's look around. WP scan usage the text. Okay, cats. WP scan usage the text. Okay, so we can see there's password user enumeration. So I'm going to grab this user enumeration, and I'm going to use this command also use alongside my API token. But I don't think I really need my API token to use it. I'll dump that here. I'll point that to the website, which is the URL http / it's 10.10. I'm not sure what the IP address is again. 249.244/retro. Okay, we've got that thing happening there. I'm enumerating for users. Let's allow it to do its thing. Then we'll see what the result looks like. If it takes a while, we might find out users. Maybe to tell us some users that we can work with. But I can already see there is this guy called Wade. So from my own enumeration, I know there's a user Wade. Maybe this will verify for me if Wade is actually a user and the WP on the server. So it's done. Found. So you see, found what? Wade. So I just verified that was Wade is a user. So now I could grab this Wade thing and still use WP scan to conduct the password attack, brute force. I'll point to a dictionary file, try to see if I can brute force for Wade's password. And that's could work, trust me, it could work. But I'm not going to do that today. I'll go back here. I already know there's a Wade user. Let me go back here and play around this web application. What can I see? I see some notes here. Wade is leaving himself some notes. Guys, look at this. December 9th, 2019. Wade said, leaving myself a note here, just in case I forgot how to spell it. This interests me. Parzival. So could that be Wade's password? I know there's RDP running here. So let me try to see if I can do some RDP stuff. I'll use xfree RDP. I'll use do I remember the command? It's u /u. The user is Wade, then /p. The password is, I'm going to go copy that thing. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to copy it, save myself the headache or the nightmare, and dump it here. Okay, then the hosts. I'm going to the IP 10.10.249.224. Oh, I may have made a mistake. So I think it's V, because host is used for, the H is used for the height of the window. So let's wait for this thing to run. When we grab an RDP session, if you do, it's game over, guys. If you do, it's game over. I'm just gonna wait for it. Seems like it's taking a while. Seems like that failed. That's bad for us. Okay. So what's the error? RDP TCP is first name resolvable. Connection failed. I think I typed the wrong IP address. It's 244. Okay, try that again and wait. Okay, so certificate verification, yes. And I'm definitely sure this will work as long as I verify. Oh, boom, that's it. So we're in the server. See, you saw what happened, authenticated for me as Wade, using Wade's credential. So I'm in the box already. I've got an RDP session, and this is game over, guys. This is the Windows server. So what else from this point? I can grab the user flag that we are asked to grab. That's this token here. Then I could try to maybe browse around. I know I'm authenticated as the Wade user. So there's pretty much, I I can do here as a web user because I don't have admin privilege, I believe. But let's look around, see if we go to users, any other user, administrator. Ding, 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 we don't have access. Okay. Now you guys already know that there are a bunch of ways we could gain admin shell. Since we're already a user, we could grab a local exploit suggester and dump it in here and run it against this box to tell us exploits. Or we could give ourselves a MetaPrater session back to us and have an advanced MetaPrater shell to load maybe to like Kiwi or maybe Cats and do some cat stuff. Or we could, then I think I'm going to use a kernel exploits, kernel exploits. That works pretty fine. So that's a good way to show you guys kernel stuff. I haven't showed you guys kernel stuff before. So we'll leave this session running. Let's see if we can ping ourselves. So I'll try and open a PowerShell. If I've got PowerShell in here, I should have PowerShell. I don't know, but it's loads pretty slow. Can you see that? Oh, gracefully, there's PowerShell. So we'll try and see if we can PowerShell.exe tag EP bypass. So let's use execution policy bypass. Then let's try to ping my stuff. So my IP is 10.8. Let me see, there's a connection back 182.252. Great, so this is a good sign. I can ping myself from the remote server, okay, at the screen. Then what are we going to do? On my Calib, on my part box, I think I've got some, I'm not sure where it is. I think I've got some kernel stuff going on somewhere. So I think I'm going to clear the screen and drag this all the way to my left. So if you look here, I've got in my off directory Windows kernel exploits. If I list the content, there are a bunch of kernel exploits for Windows. So it's a good way to show you guys some kernel exploits thing. And maybe, just maybe for my scan, I know this is RDP. So there's a kernel module for RDP, which I will be using today. I think it's 2017, since we saw it, what WP 2017 thing. So I'm going to CD into CVE 2017 and 02. So list the contents. Okay, great. So I think we know it's x64 architecture because you can see from our where's that session? Did it close? Did it die? You can see from our RDP session, this is Windows 10, so it's I believe it's x64. So let's unzip the content of x64. So we'll use unzip CVE and we'll do for x64 underscore x64. Okay, did it unzip? Great, so we got the content here. We'll try to host the Python server here and get our host. Since we already have our RDP session, we don't need to social engineer them, just need to download these exploits. So I'm going to use Python. Then if I can type Python 3 tag m http.server, I'll host that on port 9000. I think I've got a bunch of ports busy. So what's happened? HTTP, not HTTPS. So host that on port 9000. So now we're hosting the server. I'm going to go to the RDP session and browse to my IP address using Chrome browser. Let's see if I can browse using Chrome browser and download that exploits. This is a low-hanging fruit technique. I could use PowerShell to do that anyways. PowerShell has got a module that allows you to download stuff. But I'm going to use Chrome. I'm sure this belongs to a domain and they've configured the Internet Explorer browser to be locked down. I'm not just going to bother myself with it. So let's go HTTP. My IP address is 10.8.182.252 and I'm hosting on ports 9000. Can I reach that server? Excellent. So what else can we do? We can download the .exe file if AV is not going to chop it up. Okay. Oh, great. It downloaded. It's a kernel module anyway, so I guess it's. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to keep it. This is me. I've got RDP sessions. Okay. Damn you, AV. So I'm going to go back to my PowerShell and execute that module. So I'm going to change to the working directory. Let me go to list the content of this directory. I can go to download. I should have that module in there. Then how about I execute this module? It's Windows, so I'll use the /CVE. Boom, who cares? Guys, look at that. What the F? This is YouTube, no F word, sorry. No F word. So look at this. Let's list the content here. Sorry, I used that. It's Windows. This looks like we got ourselves admin shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd, go back, cd. I'm going to cd, go back, then cd users, then cd administrator. Oh, we have root and write access. That's so sweet. List the content of administrator. Then we are in the box. Maybe go to admin desktop. Now you saw how easy it was to run a kernel module and just sit back and watch it pop up a new shell. That's the beauty in executing kernel module exploits. They are pretty fun stuff to do. So we'll list the content of this directory. We've got the root text. But if you look at that, we may have to do some rename. It's root the text. I can't open that file. So I'll use rn command, root.text, and I'll pass this to root.text. Oh, rename, rn, not rm. Sorry, guys. Damn you, I have to clean this whole thing up. This sucks. I think I should have just made up a thing and use a different technique. But anyways, we're in root.text. Then we'll pass this to root.text. So what command are we going to use? Can we type root.text? There's nothing like that in there, I'm sure. Oh, there is. Wow, look at that. But zero size. So what do you use? Let me go to some. Damn, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go do some browsing. Look for Google and ask myself some questions. CMD rename file. I cannot use cat on CMD. It's REN, so it's REN. So guys, REN root.text to root.text. So I'm going to give it a different name then. Room.text. I just want to cap the content. Who cares what the name is? Okay. List the content, then type room.text. And there you go with the flag. That's just what I want. Who cares what it is? I don't give a no F word on YouTube. Sorry. Okay, guys. We can see how easy it was to run a kernel module exploits. Although it didn't give us an RDP session, but we got a root shell. Now there's a whole lot we can do with this root shell. We can set up a metaplayer stager and pass this shell onto that with our root access, or execute the binary as root, gives us a root reverse shell. Then we can do whatever we want to do. But I just showed you how quick it was to run a Kernel module. I will send you guys a link where you can clone the repo that has all those Kernel module. Then you can play with the stuffs on your own. Be probably a spare time. It'd be cool to try out. So this is it for today. We already own the box. There's probably not much to do on the box, and I'm sure the clients will be shocked by the time we pass this over to them. So thanks guys for hanging out with me once again, and it's been an awesome session. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.